Health in the modern day has become incredibly complicated. There are thousands of supplements you can take, hundreds of exercises you can do, and tons of influencers trying to sell you what they think is the best way to become healthy. Now, this can become exceedingly difficult for somebody who's trying to improve their health, like I am. And really, it's difficult to cut through all the noise. So in this video, I want to help you get to the core of what health is, to cut through all the noise, to get past all the vast amounts of information and really find a level-headed approach to health. Now, health has become exceedingly complicated for two reasons, and I will show you how you can really simplify your life and improve your health at the same time. You don't need hundreds of different pills you take every day or tons of research. You really just need a few specific things. So the first reason that health has become incredibly complicated is the world we live in. I wish we lived in a world where health was easy to come by, but in fact, we are poorly adapted to the society that we live in. It used to be that we lived in an environment where we were highly adapted to survive. But now in the modern day, where life has changed so drastically over the last 2,000 or 3,000 years, we are no longer well adapted to live, and to live well. As Naval Ravikant once said, we are evolved for scarcity but live in abundance. We came from a world where there was not enough food for everyone to eat. We came from a world where there was not enough relationships, not enough relational capital or connectedness in society. And so we are evolved to survive in certain situations that we don't experience anymore. We therefore have to fight back against all these things that are making us unhealthy. We take things like GLP-1, we take weight loss drugs to counteract our poor diets. We get all these walking desks, these standing desks and treadmills to counteract our sedentary lifestyles. We really start to accumulate all these habits because modern world has not made it easy for us to be healthy. So we live poor lifestyles and then try and cure that. But in the end, it's difficult to cure your lifestyle when it is your lifestyle that is killing you. You can add all these positive things. You can add morning daylight. You can add supplement intake. You can drink AG1, but AG1 in itself isn't going to make you healthy. It's not going to improve your health to the level that you want it to, because you're still eating poorly. You're still sitting in a chair for 10 hours a day. Now, I find myself prey to this as well. I live in the same society that you live. I'm not from Mars, but there are certain things that you can do to help prevent this. The next reason that health is extremely complicated is because everybody is different. Now, everyone says this, oh, you're special, you're unique, but in reality, everyone is an experiment of one. What works for one person might not work at all for the other person. And in fact, it probably won't. So all of these health gurus who claim that this is the one way to do it, they're usually wrong, because in fact, what works for them and gives them conviction, saying this is the one thing that will transform your health, it may have transformed their health. They might not be lying, but it might not necessarily have the same effect for you. I made a video talking about mouth strips, and I tested them with my sleep. I tracked the data, and then I reported on it. And I made a couple of shorts that were talking about my outtakes from that. And in one of them, I said that they probably won't change your life. They probably won't change your sleep. And I got a comment from a guy saying that I was a fraud and that I was spreading fake news because he had changed his life with mouth strips. Now, I could have definitely phrased that better. I could have said that personally, I've not found life-changing effects from it, which is true. And that is really what I meant by that short But this guy obviously had evidence to the contrary. He had had exceptional results from mouth strips. But I hadn't had the same results, and so our viewpoints were clashing. And when that happens, you have to find middle ground. Obviously, it didn't work wonders for me. It was not life-changing, but it was for him. And so these different treatments, which some people call bogus and some people are super into, they're not necessarily right or wrong. They're just right for some people and wrong for other people. And this is what makes health really complicated, because mouth strips might work for one person, but not for you. And so you have all these techniques. Some people do incline bed therapy. They do mouth strips. They do neti pots. Like all this random stuff that works well for them, but not necessarily for you. And this is why we have so many different treatments. There are thousands of different diseases and ailments you can have, and only a couple of those things will actually apply to you. So feeling that you need to research everything, that you need to research every single supplement, every single treatment or exercise is not necessary, really. You only need to find the few things that really work for you. So how do I propose that we solve this problem of a bloated health sector, of a bloated health education world, where it's super complicated for people to actually have healthy lifestyles? My solution is this. First, we need to start by eliminating. We live these very unhealthy lives, and that makes it very hard, obviously, to become healthy. So the first step to becoming healthy should not be adding things to make you more healthy. It's to remove the negatives. It's to remove the bad habits that are keeping you back. You have to stop going to McDonald's once a week. You have to stop lying on the couch for 8 hours on Saturday. There has to be some amount of real human life in there. When you start removing these bad habits, the scrolling late at night, the binge eating, it makes it so much easier to become healthy because all those negatives are finally removed. And if you simply live a life that is not unhealthy, you will find that you are halfway to the goal of being in great health. Literally, if we think back 100 years, 200 years, obviously there were health issues in the population, but we saw so much less risk of things like cardiovascular disease or cancer and some of these really challenging diseases that we see everywhere today. And that is because people were generally living lifestyles that were not unhealthy. As opposed to today, the average lifestyle is highly unhealthy. And so if we live like our ancestors and we live a life that is simply not unhealthy, there's just no bad habits there, the diet is fine. It's not blueprint, it's just fine. You get 90%, 80% of the way to your health, to wherever you want to be in health. And you have to understand that these health influencers, they're not necessarily showing the level of health that you want to have. You might not be driven to have the same level of health as Brian Johnson. And that's okay. He's an archetype of extreme health, and he's something that you can shoot for and then fall short, right? You can do some of the things, do most of the things, and still get very, very far. Here's my actionable step for this video. I would journal simply about the things that are destroying your health, whether it is a cycle of undereating or overeating, really bad cycles of depression where you just stay in bed for hours and hours. You have to understand the things that are really bringing you down and then eliminate those. Don't worry so much about all these crazy hypobaric chambers and the thing that electrocutes your abs to give you 2,000 sit-ups in an hour. Really, all you have to focus on is the